In 1743, on a road between Stockholm and London, one of the world's most decorated and respected scientists began to have strange dreams that, although he didn't know it at the time, signaled the beginning of the breaking down of the barrier between the physical and spiritual worlds. In the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences, you can find Emanuel Swedenborg's works on anatomy. His pioneering work, Principia. You can find the first edition of the first scientific journal in Sweden that he founded. You can find his patents for a mining apparatus for Sweden's world-leading mining industry and documentation on a system that he designed to transport ships across 5 miles of mountains, which was a key innovation for the Swedish military. All the markings of an uncommonly decorated life. But it was a life that was about to change, because you can also find in there a nondescript little tome labeled simply Journal of Dreams. He had an entry for September 23rd, 1744, about which he later wrote, "I would see fiery lights, hear conversations in the early morning, among many other proofs, until the time when a certain spirit addressed me in a few words. I was very surprised that he discerned my thoughts, and later very surprised when my mind was opened so that I conversed with spirits." And his publishing and scientific output changed forever in 1745, because Swedenborg had made the greatest discovery of his life, a way to reliably study the spiritual world. And the world that he found was a world that could be studied. This was a concrete layer of existence that, while mind-blowing, behaves in accord with its own set of concrete logical laws. There was an organized series of steps that happens to each of us after our bodies die and we find ourselves citizens of a new world. He found an expansive world that accounts for the existence of all of the world's religions and explained what the angels and evil spirits many people report experiencing are and the nature of their connection to us. He found a fair world where God wasn't arbitrary and capricious, but where knowing the difference between right and wrong were preeminently valuable, and where the pursuit of love and wisdom were at the core of life. He found a vast divine design that has a particular place for each of us, and showed how the way we live our lives here affects our experience in the afterlife. Swedenborg's account of the spiritual world is now, hundreds of years later, being confirmed by modern near-death experiences, and even modern science. In 1758, he published Heaven and Hell, which clearly and straightforwardly seems to have the answers to all the biggest questions in life. While in his day, people scoffed and ridiculed him, and the idea that anyone, let alone a scientist, could have these kinds of experiences. Could it be that what modern seekers are looking for has been there all along? We just need to open the book that everyone missed.